Hey, Brian Wilson, Texas Lawhawk. Say Funkytown Podcast.
Funkytown Podcast!
What?
Funkytown Podcast! Funkytown Podcast!
Funkytown Podcast?
Funkytown Podcast!
I was born in the East, raised in the Midwest, something my grandpappy told me before and I moved west. He said all the world's a junkie, we're merely the syringe. Well, all the world's a bottle, we're a drunkard on a binge. And now western streets are paved with $100 bills, so keep your head on straight, boy, in them California hills. I got mudslides in my bowels and earthquakes in my thighs, a water shortage in my bladder and blackouts in my eyes. I'm a casting couch potato, I got tofu for my brains. I've had so much plastic surgery, my face melts in the rain. Then I don't know what to do when the traffic lights turn green. This porno's full of lead, this drinking water is obscene. Lend all my friends are cokeheads, and me, I'm strung on pills, but I wouldn't change a thing about them California hills. I'm going home, going home, going home, going home, going home, going home to them California hills. I got a helicopter pilots tangled in my hair. My sugar mama lives in Malibu, she is a millionaire. We're tooling down the drug strip, tricked out beyond belief. In our topless titty cars, wearing nothing underneath. And the air is unbreathable, there's tumors in the sky. You better shoot me while I'm happy, you better kill me before I die. 'Cause my girlfriend's a junkie, and me, I'm strung on pills. But I wouldn't change a thing about them California hills. Lord, I'm going home, going home, going home, going home, going home, going home, going home to them California hills. Well, there's hair farmers in Hollywood, fake hippies in the H. Cholos down in Chinatown, drinking cans of paint. And the sun is a blonde, the moon is a brunette. My karma splattered my dog all over the cement. And my roommate's smoking crack. Me, I'm strung on pills, but I wouldn't change a thing about them California hills. Lord, I'm going home, going home, going home, going home, going home, going home, going home to them California hills. Now wear a winter coat when it gets down to 65 degrees. The roaches are atrocious and there's traffic in the trees. The streets are full of lunatics, drooling from their chins, obnoxious drunks and crazy assholes. Yeah, baby, we fit right in. So let's kick back, relax, smoke a joint and drink a beer. Sometimes I wish I was myself, yeah, I wish that I was here. 'Cause in 20 years now I'll be getting my big break. The ground is the limit, the sky is opaque. And all my friends are cokeheads, and me, I'm strung on pills. But I wouldn't change a thing about the California hills. My girlfriend's a junkie, we're both strung on heroin. But I wouldn't change a thing about that California sun. Friends are cokeheads and me, I'm strung on pills. But I wouldn't change a thing about the California hills. My girlfriend's a junkie, we're both strung on heroin. But I wouldn't change a thing about that California sun. Lord, I'm going home, going home, going home, going home, going home, going home, going home to the California hills. I'm going home, I'm going over to the California hills. My clothes are all the way too small, and I have forgotten how to drive, 'cause I live in California, and it's great to be drunk.
All right. Welcome to Funkytown Podcast. That was Nathan Payne's California Hills. And he's our guest today, along with Denver Williams. And Joe and Zach are both here.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
So, Denver put together a show at the Pig Summoning Wizard House, which I didn't even know was a thing. And I was like, all right, we go to this pig. I didn't know if we were pigs summoning wizards or if there were, like, wizards that were summoning pig. I don't know.
It's like a house that wizards live at where they summon pigs?
Maybe. So I wasn't sure what to expect when I got there, you know. And
or is it a pig summoning wizards?
I call it the Duck Pond Plantation.
That's a much more accurate description. Now, I left my house telling myself I should take I like to fish. I should take a fish pill, and I didn't because I'm like, I'm not going to fish. I'm going. I didn't even know there was water there. I just figured maybe on the way I'll see some water. I'll leave early. I can maybe fish 30 minutes, an hour before I go. And then I ran out of time. I was like, I should take a fishing pole anyways. And then I didn't. And then I pull up and there's this big duck pond. And I'm like, is there fish in there? They're like, yeah, there's fish in there. I'm like, just listen to your inner self, you know. But I wasn't really sure what to, exactly what it was that we were doing. So we all hung out for an hour or so, just kind of fellowshipping and hanging out and talking. And then we go inside and sit down, and then we do some pig summoning wizard stuff, and out of the door underneath the Texas flag walks out Nathan Payne, and he opens up the show with that song California Hills. And the next hour was great. It was awesome.
Thank you. It was fun.
It was really cool.
It was a great audience.
It was one of those kind of things where it's just like, it's that listening room where every single person there came to see you. I'd known about you for like a week or so. I started watching some of the videos, and when this video came on, like with the Easter Bunny and all that stuff, it was like, oh, this is really cool. Yeah. It matches the lyrics. It's real kind of surreal and almost absurd. It is.
It's funny. Yeah, my buddy put it. It was his vision.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah.
I like the way that it starts off. He walks into a phone booth and he puts a quarter in and puts the phone handle down, and then he starts singing into the phone. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Or it was one of the cuts. And then
he did everything. He just kind of used me for a day. Mm-hmm. We stood there with a boombox on the sidewalk off camera, and I would, I was singing, but I wasn't tracking the audio.
Right.
And with the boombox, slid it matched the recording, and various locations, and then he did all the rabbit stuff and everything else on his own time and his own dime. And apparently, I don't remember this, and I've never looked it up, but that old man at the beginning was in Requiem for a Dream. Wow. In some capacity. I don't, one of the old men in one of the creepy scenes, pick one. But yeah, it was, apparently, I've never looked it up, but he was a Hollywood, you knew the guy. Yeah. And so he did the scene where, the grandpa, which is cool. But, and then my friend was actually in it. The junkie chick is an old friend of mine. He's still a friend of mine, and so he contacted her separately and then did the rabbit scenes with her, which was cool because she's actually my friend. So
that's cool to have your friends in music videos.
Yeah.
So we were watching one of the first, or I guess it's the first Mean Motor Scooter video the other day where Denver's the main character.
Oh yeah, that one was fun.
Yeah.
That was us figuring out how to make a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite different from the last two, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's still a fun
We
video.
figured out to find professional
friends.
It's exactly trade favors.
iMovie is on. You could use a...
Yeah.
So you're sitting at home doing your thing, and then you get an email from this dude in Texas named
Yeah.
Denver Williams,
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, do you want to come to this house and play a show?"
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we he just emailed me, reached out, and I had to, kind of, I haven't been pursuing shows lately, and and he just, I called him, or he called me, or whatever it was, or both, and we called each other back, and we talked for like 3 hours on the phone, and I'm like, yeah, this will be fun. I would like to do this, and this is like worthwhile, not that I'm all. But it was just, it was sounded like fun.
Yeah.
I don't
Something
feel
different.
like evangelizing the music to an empty bar full of people waiting for the karaoke guy to set up anymore. So it was like, well, this is going to be a little more, personal and interested and everything. And I'm like, well, that'd be fun, and it was, and it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I'm actually going to Mexico in a few days, and I was just going to fly straight to Mexico, and I was looking for shows down there, and I found 2. I was looking for like 8. Found 2. Then I realized I'm cool with just 2, because I'm going to spend time, doing whatever it becomes clear that I'm supposed to do when I get there.
Okay.
Whether that's teach English or, walk to, Belize, or I don't know. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now we get to, it was fun. It was a privilege, actually, and then have an honor to have a really audience that was attentive. Kind of a trip, actually. Yeah. So.
No, because being like Joe, being like in a band and stuff, it's like you just go and play gigs or whatever. But like all the singer-songwriters, they always go to these bars and play for 3 hours. I don't think you've ever had like the experience where you play for 3 hours at a bar.
No, I have not.
And I can't imagine, but yeah, there's people that do it. I mean, Denver does it. You do it, I think, all the time. We go where you go set up at a pizza shop or a bar, just play for 3 hours. Do you just throw some covers and do some of your stuff? Or
we were talking about that a little bit on the way up here, and watching Nathan take a room and own it. I don't know if I'm sure you agree, but I'm not going to speak for you. Like, totally come in and take an acoustic guitar and bring the energy for an hour and keep transforming. Like, so I was like, when I was talking about how bored I've gotten in with my solo stuff, how I've been wanting to step it up anyway, but playing for 3 hours at a restaurant. But last night for me was another, put a possibility out there. Like, oh wow, like I want to have something like that again. Have something where, I don't feel. I love playing acoustic, and sometimes there's great shows, but I want to transform a room, and I want to interact with the room. I think I'm answering or on topic,
No, the great thing about watching you play the acoustic, because I think all the stuff that I'm playing here is all your band stuff or whatever. But
it's all. Well, I play everything on most of the recordings,
okay,
except unless there's any kind of real drumming going on, because I don't have any drum skills at all. Tambourine,
right,
conga, something like that. But
and
I can't
harmonica,
play the drums. Yeah. But all the other instruments I play on the multi-track.
But just doing you and the guitar, it can feel empty to a lot of people if you don't know what
they're
you're
afraid.
doing.
You have to sell yourself to the bar sometimes, and a lot of times what happens is the band will cancel on you the day of the show, and you're doing a 4-hour show, and it's not an artistic environment. It's a dive bar in some, backwater town. That I booked the show. I mean, I'm down with it. I'm going, but I thought I was going to have a band for 4 hours, and now I'm standing here with my girlfriend on the tambourine, and I got to entertain these people who want me to play Eagles covers for 4 hours.
Sure.
And you don't always succeed. But it does step up your game. So it's like you're getting dragged behind a pickup truck for 10,000 miles, and it hardens your. And it's just like, so I firmly believe that a bad show is better than a good practice, because it toughens your skills. And then you can, and I've been playing solo enough and trying to entertain the room and engage them with punk bands playing after me. I got a full band that I have to compete with sonically, and I can't stand there and emote into my shoes in a room full of people who are just having fun on a Friday night. I mean, it's art, but it's entertainment also, and
right.
It's not schlocky. But you want to keep their attention. So to do that, anyway, it's. I would love a band. I'd love just a rhythm section would be ideal, But I've had them. I've had many of them. I would like to anyway, but yeah, to do it alone is often necessary. So the guitar becomes your drum.
Right, you play
it's
like
your rhythm section,
real kind of fast.
Yeah, it's kind of like And so when I got to Chile in Santiago, they were scared because I booked this tour following Nick Cave around. I was trying to get Nick Cave's attention, and I called it the Poor Man's Nick Cave Tour. And instead of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, I was booking Nathan Payne and the Sad Beads and using it as a promotional tool to kind of try to get my name on the map and get out of the oblivion and the and then out from behind the rocks and the shadows and stuff. And I originally intended to bring a full band, which would have cost a fortune. It wasn't cheap anyway. I crowdfunded it and got exactly what I needed and not a penny more. But I couldn't bring anybody along. And but I booked a band at all these bars in South America. So I got to Santiago, and they're all very polite and friendly, but they were like, you could tell they were nervous that I was going to be, they were like, oh, you don't have a band? You're playing by yourself with an acoustic guitar tonight on our bar on a Saturday night, and this is going to be, how are we going to, and then by the end of the show, they were like, you don't need a band. And they were all, and that's my goal. That's what I want. I need to do that. I need to win them over. I have 1 hour to do it. Usually you've got 1 minute to do it.
Sure.
You've got to, you got one song, and you got to keep them going. And actually that whole show was, the recording was worthwhile to keep. I'd like to remix it and stuff and kind of make it better production-wise, but the Live in Santiago album's on YouTube or on Bandcamp. And you can hear a lot of subconscious efforts to keep the audience engaged, because I don't know, it was actually a pretty nice room. It wasn't, it wasn't huge, but it was a good stage, and I couldn't necessarily see too far out, and I'm like, it wasn't packed. But there was people there. People were there, and I'm like, well, I want them to stick around. So I'm go through my set, and I got my live standards, and this song is maybe a slower song and a country gallop, or it's in 3, and it's not this upbeat song. And after I play the songs, you'll notice on the recording that there's a lot of fast strumming, and I'm like, it's just, and I'm not aware I'm doing it. I listen to it later. I'm like, well, I'm afraid that the audience is losing them, so I want to wake them up.
The punch.
No. Okay, this song is called. Play something real. Just strum off.
So kind of
usually a C chord for some reason for me, but then just strum off a C chord real quick, just to give the air energy so that it keeps looking at me, so that the bar is happy that it hired me, and because we all know what it's like when the bar is not happy that it hired you, and I want the bar to make money. It's a business, and I would like them, because if they make money, I make money, and hopefully, depends on the bar.
That's how it's supposed to work.
But at least on paper, the bar is doing well. Therefore, they want us back, because when the drummer and the bass player cancel the day of the show, and you got a 4-hour set, 4 different sets, 4 1-hour sets at a bar in downtown Palookaville, you're not going to get hired back. You have to show up, and you got to show up and do as best you can with what you got, and that's your job, and that's what you've been hired to do, and they pay you. But when you say, "Can we do another gig?" they're like, and you get it. I don't even argue. It's like you have to ask because you want to play there again, but they say no, and you're like, I get it. I blew a show in L.A. like that accidentally. I lost control of my right arm for about a week. It was kind of weird, and I couldn't have any strumming power for reasons that I don't understand. But it was something weird, and my arm was unreliable at the time, and it wasn't in pain, but I couldn't control it. But it's like a floppy fish. And my buddy in San Diego, who plays banjo, came up and filled in for me. But I had to do the whole 3-hour set with just a drummer and a guy who's a good friend of mine, but he had never rehearsed before. I said, most of the songs are in C. If you're lost, play a C, and you'll be right about 50% of the time. And we're going to try to pull off this 3-hour show, and we didn't. And it was a freaking nightmare. And the bar was disappointed that it hired me, and I asked them a couple times since for a show, and they've never responded, and I don't blame them. So you go through that enough, and we've all been there.
Sure.
But you just keep going, and then you start to try. You make a subconscious effort to engage whatever it is that's going on, because you fight in the football game, you're fighting the TV, you're fighting the karaoke guy, you're fighting all of it. So you want to win.
Yeah, these days you're fighting
the
phones
attention
too.
and affection, if possible, of whoever's in the room, so that you can come back hopefully
And so
build your fan base.
So you did. So you did live in California for a while.
Yeah, not one word of that song is actually true anymore.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's I used to love it there. No, I lived in L.A. from well, actually, right before 9/11 until about 06, the middle of 06, and that video was made in 04. But I moved out there for a little while, and
I don't know. It's great. It's like it seems to me like you have a California style.
yeah, I immediately liked L.A.
Yeah.
when I first went out there in '99, and I was there for like a month and a half, or about 5 weeks, and I was still drinking at the time, and got into some stupid situation, and it kicked my ass. L.A. will kick your ass. It's a hard town, actually. I mean, nowhere is really soft, but L.A. is particularly indifferent. It's brutal and it's indifferent, and it kicked my ass, and I ended up in the hospital, and I OD'd, collapsed in the street, and it was weird. Long story, but I got the bug. And I said, I'm going back to that town. I like that place. That was a trip. And I went back like 2 years later with some money after working a summer job, and I got a job at the Chateau Marmont right away, which is this famous Hollywood hotel. I was living at this flop house and working at this place where the cheapest room was $400 a night, and John Waters was staying there, and I delivered a piece of dry cleaning, or picked it up from Bjork. New Yorkers, they're like, hey, Nathan, we need you to go pick up your dry cleaning from room 37. I'm like, all right. And I opened room 37, and Bjork is standing there in a bathrobe with wet hair. I'm like, oh, my gosh. And she had these crazy powers flying out of her eyes, and I instantly fell in love with her. And I went back to I said, anything room 37 needs, even if I'm not working, call me, dude.
Yeah.
I delivered an envelope to Joe Strummer's room. Like about a year before he died. He didn't die. He was dead. He died in 02, and I had to deliver an envelope to him. So it said Joe Strummer on it. It was that kind of hotel. I didn't meet him. He wasn't there, unfortunately. Right. But I had the master key, and I let myself in and put the envelope in a professional manner on his totally like trashed kind of room. It wasn't like party trashed. He just kind of, he didn't care. He was just food, room service plates and kind of junk as well, kind of everywhere. And I put Joe Strummer, and I put it on the table. So that was my first job in LA. And but then they laid a bunch of us off. Anyway, I did live there, and I liked it for a long time. And then I just got tired of it. I just burned through it, and the muse left, and the sparkle left, and I solved the puzzle, and it was time to find another one.
Time to move on.
Yeah.
Now, when I say this, I'm not trying to make myself sound like an intellectual or anything like that, but like you remind me, or at least your spirit kind of reminds me of Kerouac.
Oh yeah,
because he's roaming around all over the place, and these different, and it's
influence actually.
It's mostly on the road. I mean, I haven't read all of this stuff, but
not all of it, most of it.
Yeah,
primarily on the road.
Yeah,
but several. It's been a while.
Yeah. But he was just going town to town, meeting girls, falling in love.
Yeah.
There was lots of tragedy, but there was beauty in it. He always found beauty in it. And I think that's what I like about your music. A lot of it seems kind of tragic, but there's always beauty in it. Even that song, you're like, I love the California hills, even though you're talking about all these bad things.
That's a nice thing to hear. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually an amazing thing to hear. That's, I think without even knowing it, that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
It should be beautiful. There should be... It's like some stuff's going to be super depressing, but there should be something funny in it too, or there should be beauty in it, even if it's kind of morbid. It shouldn't be, there should be something, because that sadness isn't, that sorrow isn't. You don't want to get nihilistic about it. I mean, without the beauty, you're going to blow your brains out.
Sure. Right. You got to see the beauty in it.
You gotta, there is, and and I love Kerouac. Actually, I'm a huge. I still love Kerouac.
I do too.
Yeah. I'm a fan. He's a big influence.
But it seemed like he lived a very sad life, in a way.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think he was torn. Yeah, he didn't seem like even when he made it, he was still. He didn't. He'd never quit drinking.
Right.
But he was an excessive drinker. It's not like he just had a few beers.
No, he was a drunk.
He was a drunk, right? And toward the end, he was notorious for getting into fights, not even necessarily fist fights. I'm sure it came to that to a degree, but he was probably a shit talker, and he's in this kind of working class bar in Jacksonville, Florida. I think
he died in Florida.
I think it was somewhere in Florida. I want to say Jacksonville. I'm not sure. And he was successful already. Or when he's on Oh, it was not Dick Cavett. It was another big guy at the time.
I do remember him being on a
and-
show.
You can see it on YouTube, and he's kind of drunk.
Was it with Ginsburg or
Yeah,
somebody?
no, maybe. No, I don't think. Maybe.
was-
It was some guy. I don't remember. Gosh dang, what was the name of that show? I want to say. What's that English? He sounds English, but he's from New York. Not it. He's like that intellectual guy who had a show. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
But he's obviously kind of making a drunken ass of himself on TV.
Yeah.
You know, and so he never quite. And he's on his third wife. You know, lived with his mom and his third wife.
But he was very troubled, and I don't know. It's kind of
whatever. It's
Steve Allen.
Steve Allen.
Was it the Steve Allen show?
Maybe. I want to say.
Or William Buckley?
William Buckley.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
There you go.
That was it. And he's on there with like a hippie guy, and he didn't quite, and he was just kind of a drunk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You could tell he was drunk
The-
to a fault. Not just, but anyway. Yeah. But his spirit. What I love about him is that his spirit always seemed to shine through that, and
That's kinda where it's
he
going,
never
yeah.
really believed in it. Even it was like he couldn't find anything else to do, and so he just kind of stayed in that unrealized alcoholic situation instead of, if you can drink, you can drink, and there's nothing wrong with having a drink. But if you're a drunk, it's kind of a problem, right? So it's like, and he never found anything else to do, it seems, and so. But his spirit never entirely. His body failed him, I think, before his spirit.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of the King David story, as far as like where David was always failing God. But,
There you go.
But God said he was a man after my own heart. He kind of recognized
Yeah,
the
right.
spirit of that.
There you go. That's
you know?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but I always like those kind of. It's just because of my wishful. I mean, I'm married. I got kids. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
yeah.
But I still have that wild
Yeah.
kind of mind and that roaming heart where it's
Yeah.
like, I wish I
the
could.
The funny part, and I've noticed, is that it really is always greener on the other side, man. It really is. Like, the grass is always greener in someone else's bong.
Right.
Yeah.
and so you're like, because what I was just talking to these people at Denver's house or at Neil's house actually. Like Blaze Foley, if you read about him, and it's like his wife was, at the time, called him, like, he was a homeless homebody. He's kind of a wandering heart, but he really kind of wanted to be home, And I feel like that. I would love to have a place to put a cat and a garbage bag, and to stop living out of a bag. I've chosen it. I'm not
right.
Lest God forbid I sound like I'm complaining about it. I mean, it's got a massive upside that I wouldn't trade. But it's like anything. It's like anything. Nothing is perfect, right? So it's a little bit of both, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I always say choose your compromise. I mean, I started living in cars because I had a job, and I was a telemarketer, and I was taking the bus down Sunset Boulevard, and then it's L.A., so you'll meet people, and then I befriended the sister of this famous baseball player. I don't really know baseball, but they got rich because he was a Cy Young Award-winning pitcher, and so they sort of moved into the hills. And I saw her randomly in a bar, and we're hanging out, and she's like, "Do you want my old car?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want your old car." Right? So it's like a '93 Taurus, nothing fancy. She had like a nice car because your brother was rich,
right?
Now. So she gave me her old car, and I was looking at it one day, parked on the street, and I'm like, everything I own will fit in the trunk of that thing. Why am I waking up at 7 o'clock every day to go sell magazines to people in South Carolina who hate me when I can move into that? And I did, and I got more done. It was an adventure at first, and it was inspiring, and I got more done for years. More promotion. I've never been able to stick. Well, that's the downside. Is that it's like, well, okay, you feel if you're staying in a place, you feel stuck. The downside is if you're not staying in a place, you can't stick to anything.
Right.
So it's like, well, I don't know. What are we doing here? Then we all hopefully, I don't know. So I got a lot done, though. More writing, more promotion.
Played a lot of shows.
But my compromise, instead of waking up at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock every day to go take the bus, one job I had, it was like a 2+ hour commute from Silver Lake all the way out to deep, like Sepulveda and Sherman Way, I think was the street, which is like a 2-hour bus ride at least, one way. So I'm like, commuting 4 hours a day. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And so my compromise then was, I don't get to take a shower every day. I'm sleeping in a car. I'm brushing my teeth in the park. You know, I'm drinking room temperature instant coffee, and every day, room temperature meaning the passenger seat, and that's my compromise. And so I've chosen it, so own it, don't bitch about it.
Now, is it hard to meet people and make relationships living that kind of life?
What do you mean?
I mean, the women that girlfriends, or even just
Some
like
chicks
maybe
like
get lonely,
it.
or
Some chicks want to try it out.
Yeah?
They think it's cool. Yeah. And some chicks, depending on the type, you know, usually artistic types, or you know, maybe artistic types who are stripping on the side for cash.
Right.
You know, they downright take care of you. They'll come up. Or it's like, you know, God provides, man. It's kind of amazing. I found $104 in cash on the street in downtown L.A. on the sidewalk one day, you know, just because I was hanging out with a friend and I needed that money really badly. Or one other time, I was living in my car, didn't have a dime to my name, and I mean, I had like a dime. I had like 50 cents, no green money, and an eighth tank of gas. And I'm like, you know what? I can sit here in fear and evaporate into death, or I can just drive until the wheels fall off of this life. Forget it. F it. I'm taking a ride. And I'm driving around in this neighborhood in L.A., like a residential neighborhood, not like a big street. And some dude is flagging me down for a ride. He's like hitchhiking in a residential neighborhood in L.A. And I'm like, you know what? I actually need to give this guy a ride. So I'm like, I roll down my window. I'm like, hey, man, you got any cash? He's like, yeah, I'll give you $20. This is where you need to go. And there you go. All of a sudden, I was like, I had like, you know, 80 cents and an eighth a tank of gas. And all of a sudden, I got $20. All I have to do is give this guy a ride. We had a good conversation. He was cool. Mm-hmm. He was grateful for the ride. And I had enough for like some gas, like a half a tank of gas and a jumbo jack and, you know, some fries or something. And I was good for the day. Yeah. Or another time, when my second wife and I were living in a car in San Francisco, living in the busking for a situation. Well, that's a long story, but it's interesting. This guy, we didn't make any money, and we were walked out of the subway. It was a rough situation, and we had like $10, and it was a hard $10. And this homeless guy comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, man, can I have $5?" And I was instantly, honestly, convicted by the Bible verse that says, "Give to he who asks, and him who wants to borrow from you, do not turn away." But I'm like, that's half my cash, and I just cut my guts out for it. No, dude, I can't. But I was like, man, you know what? That's not cool, man. That's not what God wants me to do. So after we went to Union Square and sat there, and I'm like, okay, God, I'm sorry I didn't give that guy half my money, but it's cool. Within 10 seconds, another guy, Angel, of course, dressed in homeless camouflage, comes up to me, looks right at me, and he's like, "Hey, can I have $5?" And I said, "You know what?" He said, "You got $5 for me?" I said, "I don't, but God wants you to have it, so it's yours." So we're walking out of, and I'm like, "Well, good. Well, we got $5 now. We can't even afford the dollar store peanut butter anymore, but at least we were obedient to God's will, and we're going to be okay." We're walking back up to the car in the hills in Chinatown. Out of the blue, some couple is walking down the hill, and they say, "Hey, are you hungry? We don't feel like carrying this around anymore. Here, you can have our leftover Chinese food." And dude, it was like fish. It was like $20 worth of food. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have, if I was in the restaurant, I wouldn't have bought it because it was the expensive stuff. I would have bought like the vegetable tempura and maybe an egg roll, you know. Right. And this is like, and it was more than enough food for both of us. We were full, and it was quality, man. And it's like, so that kind of stuff will happen. Another time, same trip, where the guy, we had $2, and we bought a bagel from Safeway near Ocean Beach in San Francisco. And we're walking out, and this guy asked me for some money, and I said, "You know what, man?" Because I sympathize with homeless people, and I said, "You know what? I don't have a dime, dude, but I'll give you $1. I've got $2. I'll give you one of them. But FYI, me and my wife live in that blue car right there with 3 cats." And he's like, "Oh, no, I don't want your money. I thought you were like a normal person. No. Here, why?" And he pulls out some steak from behind the vending machine. He's like, "Why don't you meet my friends at 19th and Lincoln in an hour, and we'll go into the park and have a barbecue at midnight?" I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, just meet us there. It's cool, man." So I met these guys, and all these homeless people met us at 19th and Lincoln at the park, but they don't close Golden Gate Park. There's no gates or anything. You can just walk in all night. Uh-huh. And so we went to the grill, and then grilled steak and smoked a bunch of weed, and they wanted to get us gacked out on. We didn't take any of the hard shit, but they and it was like that kind of stuff. So that'll happen, and then but there's no certainty in it.
There's no certainty.
And so
in
the grass is greener thing is like, man, it'd be nice to just know that I've got a place. I'm so transient that if I've got a hotel room for 3 days, I'll put posters on the wall. It's like, I'm like,
start
oh
your
my
mouth.
gosh, I can actually stay here for like 3 days, and then I decorate the room just to indulge my domestic needs.
No, I just think that's super interesting. Being able. I've watched like some of the YouTube videos. There's people now that are doing the same thing, but they're doing the YouTube videos. But I watched this guy turn his SUV into like a camping thing where he has all the stuff he needs. He carries food with him.
Yeah.
And then he has a little solar panel on top of his truck, and he has like a.
I always wonder. Yeah, the van life videos that I like are the ones where they're like, man, van life sucks.
Yeah.
I can't stand the ones where they're all like, man, this is going to be great. Because there was one couple I finally found. It was a couple. It was a man and a woman. And they're younger-ish, not super young, but whatever. And they were like, well, we've been doing this for a month, and we're tired. And I'm like, oh, I love you.
Yeah, because you're being real about it, yeah.
Instead of like, yeah, I've got everything I need in this 2-foot square little box that is completely dependent on every cop that happens to walk by. And because everybody's a rat, you learn.
Yeah.
You park outside of Grandma's house in Glendale, California, and all of a sudden the Glendale cops are knocking on your window because you're a loud van that looks like drug dealers live in it. And she calls the cops because she's afraid, and you don't argue with these. But you can't argue with anybody. You don't even try. Or you think the people with the tribal tattoos are cool, and maybe your car broke down, and you had to drag your trailer. We had a trailer another time. It was an Rstream trailer. Had that dragged into storage in a RV park in Pismo Beach, Grover Beach, technically, but we couldn't afford to stay in the RV park. We could only afford the storage, so we had the boondocking vehicle, which was another Taurus, a different Taurus, and so we traded nights. So I would sleep the night in the Taurus, and then I'd smuggle her into the storage facility to spend the night with the cats in the trailer, and then we'd switch nights, and then it'd be my night to get some sleep, but we couldn't spend any time together. And then the cool couple of partying cool people, and they looked like punk rocker or rockabilly. They weren't like they weren't yuppies or something,
sure.
Right? And they saw us doing the covert exchange of and then within 10 minutes there's like some like RV park employees going, you can't spend the night here. It's like, why would you rat us out? And so you learn, and so you start to become super neurotic about light, noise, and that's the downside.
Yeah.
Is that you don't have any sense of propriety over anything. The upside is when it starts to get stupid, you just walk out the door. And you leave, and you can leave now.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes, gone for life. And that's nice. But it's also not. Like anything. Like
sure.
Everything.
Right.
Anyway.
And everything's got its ups and downs.
Yeah.
But there is a certain...
It's fun, though, too.
Romanticism
like you say, you get to have steak with a bunch of homeless stoners at midnight in the park. That
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So,
that's fun.
the whole big risk, big rewards. It seems like whenever you're a kid, you're willing to do all kinds of crazy stuff. But as you get older, you kind of start calming down and get a little more centered and try to be more normal and have a family or whatever. And so you don't have as many big adventures because you're not willing to make the big risk.
You got more to lose.
I guess so.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind having a little more to lose.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of like the way you. The way that you would you get criminals to be good is to give them a job, get them a house, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So now all of a sudden, they're like, they're like, oh, now I got a job, and I have to be good because I want to keep these nice things. I didn't have before.
I don't feel like living in the flop house with
30 other people or whatever.
And the bugs, 3 different species of cockroach in the bathroom, and I have to leave the lights on at night so I don't go to sleep with dead bugs on my feet every day, and and you get tired of living in those places, and I've spent lots of time in those places, and places where, your junkie girlfriend calls some thug friends of hers to come and kick your ass because you broke up again, and a bunch of thugs show up and you get a call from the front desk, and they're like, some guys from your job are here to see you. And I'm like, I don't have a job.
Yeah.
So you take out your wallet, you put on a shirt you don't care about, and you go downstairs and see what these guys want. And they're like, hey, you owe us some money. And they're all trying to, and you're like, what, man? I don't know her nothing. I don't know who you... And then they 1-2 you real quick, and you don't even know you've been hit until you wake up on the floor. And you wake up on the floor, and these guys are running out, and the guy at the front desk is just sitting there reading the paper, doesn't pay any attention.
Doesn't even flinch.
Doesn't care. You don't want him to care. He's not going to call the cops. You don't want him to call the cops. You don't ask him to call the cops. You just get up from the floor, go back to your room, and finish your joint, And that's cool. I don't, you wouldn't get that at the Holiday Inn Express,
Right.
But then again,
But I'm saying, is that the price for the big adventures, for
Right.
the big
Maybe.
stories, the
Yeah,
the big ideas, the big inspirations?
I mean,
all
and
that.
that's where the lyrics are coming. It's not like I'm not imagining. It's all true. It's all happened at some level. Some of it literally, and most of it literally, really. But
So we're gonna play. The next song we'll play is the My Ass Is.
My Ass Is Hooked on Dynamite.
Yeah, it's Hooked on Dynamite. So is there anything about that song, like a story that goes along with that?
I don't remember. Yeah, I love this song. It's actually a live staple.
Okay,
But I need a bass. I need a band for it.
Yeah.
It's not a. There's my set list would be quadrupled or tripled at least if I had a band.
Sure.
Especially like a Nick Cave sized band with 3 or 4 instrumentalists.
yeah, but this one has that dirty bass. It's kind of
Yeah,
that rockabilly.
but even
run.
just a rhythm section would double my set list overnight.
Yeah.
And this song would be on it if I had a bass player and a drummer.
This is a good one. This is a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
there's truth in it. I don't remember the. There's some. It kind of gives you. I think I remember. There's like this. There's this negative vibe where you're like. I think at one point, like one of the refrains is, "I'm the scum of the earth."
Yeah.
I'm the scum of the earth, and I don't believe in that kind of thing anymore. I think you are. It doesn't mean that you are necessarily becoming the scum of the earth when you say that, but I think you. I used to think that there was power in owning the darkness and your weakness, and Alcoholic Clown records, and I'm the scum of the earth, and I'm a failure, but I'm free. I'll hitch my trailer to the sea, and it's like, no, I don't want to sing I'm a failure because I don't want to create my reality that way. I don't think that. I think any 20 years now I'll be getting my big break is apparently kind of true. Because that song is 16 years old, so I only got 4 years now before I get my.
You're getting close.
God willing, it'll maybe it'll cut it short a little bit, But so it's not like it's an untrue song, and I'll play it, God willing, if I had a band and I'll play it for the rest of my life. It's a cool song, and I won't change the lyrics to make them. You got to stick to the truth of the tune, whatever. But that part's not true anymore. I'm not the scum of the earth, and neither is any of us.
Yeah,
But you think you're somehow it's owning something, and
right?
You're owning the future of the absolute
negativity.
Yeah. Good luck.
No, I think I like the verse. I don't know why we're getting into the Bible tonight, but the where I forgot who it was, but somebody said, "God, who are you?" And God's like, "I am." That was his answer, "I am." And then so I always thought of "I am" as being like a prayer. So whatever you finish with. After I am,
actually, I think Proverbs 18:12, and I'm not sure if it's 18:12 or 12:18, and I might be wrong, but I think it's Proverbs 18:12 that says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." So if you say, if I say, "Hi, my name is Nathan, and I'm an alcoholic," I am actually by my own tongue binding myself to the condition of slavery. I am saying, that's why I'm not a program guy. I've been sober for 5 years.
Yeah.
But I don't say, and if we're talking about the Bible, I'll preach for 5 seconds. I don't say, "Hi, I'm Nathan, I'm an alcoholic." I'll say, "Hi, I'm Nathan, I've been delivered from alcohol by the blood and grace of Jesus Christ." That's what I say.
Yeah.
And so that's delivery. I don't have to go to the program. You know what the program is? It's a religion.
It is a religion.
It's a religion. And it's good. It's better than laying on the side of the road with
For
a needle in
sure.
your arm. Good for you. I'm not knocking it. I'm glad about it. It's a good thing. But I don't like it.
Right. No, some people
I
need
don't
it.
like it. It's never worked for me.
Yeah.
The one time I had a sponsor, it doesn't work for me. Sitting around listening to people talk about alcohol for 2 hours is not only a boring waste of time, it actually makes you want to drink.
Yeah.
You're like, that sounds. I mean, doesn't sound like fun, but it's
kind of
it's
masochistic.
creating the appetites. It's reminding me that I don't want to be reminded. I mean, you all could be right now. You're all. I don't mind people. I don't care about. I'm free of it. It doesn't bother me. I had a girlfriend who drank to drunkenness on I don't. Whatever. If you were a heroin injecting, I might. It's time to. I gotta go. It's not.
Yeah, I'd be like, this
I'm
isn't
not
my
gonna call the
scene.
cops.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
No,
I'm
but
not
it's-
gonna like spit on you and say you're freaking me out, man. I'm gonna relapse. No, brother, you need to quit. I'm out.
Yeah.
Good luck. I love you, but cheers. I'm leaving. But I'm not put off by it. Do a line in front of me or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
like,
going to join you.
put it
I've
behind
even
you.
quit smoking weed, man, and I like weed, dude. Weed is good for you, man. It's
Yeah.
good for you. It's like kombucha. It's like tea, man. It's like healthy. I don't even smoke weed anymore. It's ridiculous.
Keep that straight edge. Keep that straight edge.
It's a fun bummer.
Yeah, for real. All right. Well,
Liberating bummer.
this is the My Ass Is Hooked on Dynamite.
The moon is a pearl
Innocent stars, my arms are full of snake bites and constellations, scars. Don't ask directions, watch where you spit. The moon is full, the moon is full of shit. Well, I've known a few women who were nice, but I've never known a woman without a price. But I know out there somewhere is a girl whose heart is pure. What makes you think I care? What makes you think you're her? Someone tell me something, please, I don't already know. Look for water on the flames, but it only makes them grow. I may be a doomsday preacher, I may be a fallen saint, but in love with you forever, baby, is one thing that I ain't. I'm the scum of the earth. 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 Don't you know what it's worth? What's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. In this world of whore amateurs, well, I may not be admired, but I've acquired so much wealth. To what end have I destroyed myself? Someone tell me something, please, I don't already know. I pour water on the flames, but it only makes them grow. I may be a doomsday preacher, I may be a fallen saint, but in love with you forever, baby, is one thing that I ain't. I'm the scum of the earth. 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 Oh, don't you know what it's worth? Snake eyes, I'm the love that makes you cringe. I'm the paralyzing poison in your pretty pink syringe. My ass is hooked on dynamite and my brains have gone to rot. It takes more balls to be strong if you're not.
And welcome back to the Funkytown Podcast.
Were you
that
recording?
was
Yeah.
Okay, and so you got Zach?
We're live, baby. This shit is hot.
Hot.
Welcome back to the
I kind of want to
Funkytown
leave the commentary track on underneath. I'm sorry, Zach.
That's okay.
Paying no attention to the track at all.
That was My Ass is Hooked on Dynamite. Really neat song. Yeah. If you got to hear the commentary track, we talked a little about
We could take a poll of the room.
kind of what I thought about it. And
Okay.
Let's
we
talk
all-
about Hank 3.
I'll put it at the end of the episode underneath the song again.
Anyways,
Yeah.
If you want to email us about how much you like that song, email us at funkytownpodcast@gmail.com. It's a really neat thing to do, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. We'll enjoy it. We'll even read it here on the show. So get to it.
And definitely check out Nathan Payne's stuff.
Yes.
We might be getting an email from some Mormons.
Oh, that'd be neat.
Oh yeah.
We're waiting on you guys. A couple of guys rode up on bicycles, and they stopped in front of the house and they kind of talked to each
Last
other.
night?
No, just now.
Earlier,
Oh.
like 20 minutes before. No, not even 20 minutes. Like
Yeah,
10 minutes.
10 minutes
before
before you guys got here.
And they stopped and they kind of talked to each other or whatever. They kind of looked at us and they talked a little bit more, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey,
Hey,
can we talk to you guys?"
no, are they? Yeah, can we give you a card?
Yeah, can we, yeah. Can
And
we
we're
give you a
like,
card?
yeah, sure. So they came up. And they're like, "Wow, what'd they say? Do you know anybody that
I
you
got
know?"
a trick tract about Mormonism.
Do you want to hear the good
Talks
news
about
about
how
Jesus?
satanic it is.
Oh no.
No,
Oh, yeah?
You have a trick track?
Jack Chick. He did. Well, I got all these in Spanish.
Oh yeah, I know those tracks. Okay.
Yeah, the cartoon tracks.
Mm-hmm. Dude, some of those scared me when I was a kid.
Yeah, some of them are scary. Well, don't tell anybody, but California Death Trip, the album cover. I know you're not all familiar with it, whatever.
Right.
But go to the California Death Trip album cover. There's like a double face of me, right? This is one about Mormonism. But
Visitors.
I know, right?
Ooh.
It's like some
So-
John Carpenter movie, you know.
So
I
foreboding.
read all these when I
But
was a kid.
I'll give you all more of these when I leave. But like, what was I talking about? We got all distracted.
Trick track? We're talking about tracks.
Mormons and
yeah. I don't know what I was talking
what
about.
what is this trick
California
track?
Death Trap album.
Oh, California Death
Oh,
Trip,
there you go.
the zombie face picture that I glue on. There's two pictures of me. It's the same photograph, and one is me, and then one is me with a zombie face, and the zombie face is from a chick track. Don't tell anybody.
So these things
Just
are
blew the secret.
You would
now,
find these.
now chick.com is going to ask for I'm sorry, what?
yes,
he just
for-
died. He was like 90 something. He died a year ago or something.
But you would find them just laid about churches would pass them
Yeah.
out. It's usually fundamental,
I leave them
Yeah,
on
yeah,
bus
tracks.
stations, and
and
yeah.
you know, and so you'll
I
read
got
them.
them all in
And
Spanish for my Mexican adventure.
Yeah.
It's
And so,
kinda-
yeah, it's a
fun
comic
to-
strip,
They're fun
but-
to toss out like confetti. You know, you got to look at them. Some of them are specific to a certain need. Like if you all hadn't brought the Mormons up, I might not have brought them up.
Yeah.
That one's about Mormonism. So next time they show up, you can say, "This is why y'all are out your freaking minds."
right. Well, no, we asked them. We asked them if they wanted to hear the good news of the Funkytown podcast.
go ahead. This
And
is
then,
for y'all.
and then Joe actually asked them if they wanted some literature, and they're like, "No." But I wanted to see what literature
They all, yeah,
Zoe
it's
had
like,
to pull
it's
out.
got the kind of the appearance of.
Yeah, it's like comic
But
strip.
it's like
Yeah.
it's just devil is smart. He's just subtle enough.
I don't know,
It's
man.
Just slightly not liberating enough to be a bummer to most rational people.
When I was
It's
a
like,
kid,
oh,
I
you
would,
got to dress. Now you all have to wear these ugly clothes, and I mean, not bumming. I don't care what you wear, but I mean, you know, now you have to wear a uniform, and it's not appealing to people. So that's the trick.
so do you believe in?
So it's got Jesus on the cover, but that doesn't mean he's on. It's like just because he's on the cover or his picture is in the room doesn't mean he's in the room. You know, so. That's a good one about Mormonism. I haven't read it in a long time, but I remember that I liked it and it made sense.
Now, I used to read these when I was
Yeah,
a
I
kid,
got
but like I
it.
said, a lot of them kind of scared me because a lot of them were about the rapture or about the beast or
The
about
beast,
hell
the
and
666
you know.
system and the whole Antichrist Pope.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. You know, yeah. And so
Yeah, you know, yeah. Some of them are like for children and
was-
super sweet, and you know, you got to select them a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of you got to wait for the right opportune moment for each one. You don't just want to. You can, I do, but you also say, well, this one is really not for it's for a specific moment anyway. That one is about Mormons, but yeah, that's scary artwork. I've used it for posters. I've used chick track work for show posters in the past. Because some of it's kind of good.
some of it is good. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. I've got some old movies too
Yeah.
that are kind of the same Christian propaganda type stuff, which is kind of
The
interesting.
Fascinating. None of this was on the menu for me growing up.
Yeah, I couldn't get away from it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I haven't seen one of these, but yeah, I mean, my church would give them out and stuff, but I would also just find them random places.
Yeah.
It may also be living in the Bible Belt. That stuff is more apparent. Did you find them a lot of times when you were a kid, Denver?
I had a friend who was a missionary, and I went and hung out with him in Ukraine, and I think that was it was just right outside of my it was right in my, what do you call that,
Peripheral.
peripheral.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
I never
yeah.
I
I
had
was just
my
wondering if
own-
it was a Texas thing or if it was just me living in a very fundamental house.
I mean,
thing.
yeah, there's not a lot of fundamental Christians in Montana, generally speaking. But no, we had Watchtower and Awake laying around at my grandma's house.
What is that?
Those are the Jehovah's Witnesses
Oh, okay.
books.
There's another one in here about them.
Mhm. Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know what it's called. Though.
The other visitors.
The other visitors. Yeah. The Thing.
Now let me think of where I was going.
The kids who don't participate in the Valentine's party at school.
The show last night was interesting because about halfway through, you were singing a song like where the chorus was mainly "You can suck my tits."
Yeah,
was part of it or whatever.
Right.
And then
Yes, it was.
all of a sudden, a couple little girls come in. And they come in and they sit down on the lazy chair, and then her dad's in the back, and he's all like, I guess he's live streaming it or something, or Instagram. I don't know. He's got his phone out, and he's recording it, and you just, I mean, I see you notice them, and it's like, and I wonder, I'm like, I wonder if he's going to change this up at all or not. And you didn't. I mean, you're like, this is the way the song goes. I was doing the song before the kids came in the room. So
I remember that, right?
And so, I mean, you did the
Yeah.
song exactly how it's done, and then you finish, and you're like, okay, now the next song I was going to do, I'm not going to do right now because it's not really child appropriate. But I thought it's interesting, I mean, like as an artist, you're aware, like when the kids walk in, you're like, what do I should I keep going with sucking tits, or should I or should I like just kill it? Or I mean,
it's also not a bad word.
It's not.
Yeah, it's a crass lyric, but it's not actually cursing per se. You can't. I've actually grappled. I don't like that word. I've grappled with that my whole life, and with is this appropriate, and is this what I believe, and is this? But the lyric is the lyric, and so when I wrote "It's What It's," something in me when I was writing it was like, I don't want to sing this. Get on your knees and kiss my tits. I do as I please. It's what it's. But it's the lyric. That's the song. That's what it is, and that's the true song, and it's about true things, and it's all that. And so I rewrote it, just the chorus, to make it palatable to the average offended person. And but it was one of those very unusual situations where I was in Arkansas, and I wrote it in a hotel, and then my buddy lives in Arkansas, and I was visiting him, and then he had a recording situation, so I recorded it the day I wrote it.
Okay.
Which
yeah.
never happens. Well, sometimes, like 3 times.
But usually you sit on it for a little while.
And I got to the time of, okay, now I have to track it, and there was no way I could actually record the fake edited lyric. I had to track the original lyric as it came from the faucet, from straight up, not filtered. I'm not going to sing the dope song off of the Stupid Old Heart album, "The Heroin, You Effing Bitch, I Hate You." I'm not going to sing that song. Is obsolete, but I wouldn't, even if it wasn't, I wouldn't change the lyric in the context of the show. But when the little kids show up, okay, well maybe we're not going to play the F-word song. You know what I mean? We'll wait, and if they stay, I won't play it. It's not sacred. It's a song.
Right.
It's cool. I like it, but I'm not. It's not like we're not. It's not all that. There's not like this. Oh, what am I going to do? I'll just play another song. I got another one I can play. And then they left, and which I was, neither here nor there about. Not happy or sad about, but it was nice. It was a fun show.
No, I thought it was really neat.
People
I mean, they came in and they just,
and
and they just kind of watched it, and they're exposed to something they're probably not normally exposed to.
Yeah, it was grateful. They were grateful, and I was grateful. So it was just this unusual gratitude. It's really a grateful environment from all angles, and that was a treat. That was a privilege. That was fun.
Is this your first time to Fort Worth?
Other than just being through it to avoid Dallas. So when you're driving north or south, and you're like, well, 35 east or west, and you're like, I don't feel like going through Dallas today.
Yeah.
You're not stopping in either one. Other than that, this is my first time. So technically, I've been being through it on the freeway doesn't count.
I think whenever you're heading back from Mexico, you should.
Oh, definitely.
You should think about maybe.
I'm hoping for.
You should come through here. Maybe stay first.
Without knowing what this means. I'm actually looking forward to whatever that entails.
Yeah.
So that'll be it. Because there ain't nothing. Unless Nick Cave calls.
Right.
And says, "Oh, we got your tweet from October. Yeah, we're gonna cover one of your songs," and I'll be like, "Okay, cool." Now our name is on the map, and anybody wants to come along for the ride, and let's make a living. Let's make a living. It's not about putting your name on the tail fin of a 767. It's about paying the rent.
Right. No, that's. I mean, I guess everybody has their own things, but some people may be like, I want to have.
I mean, if you could afford it.
Maybe some people may be just getting into music because they want to have the big airplanes and the cover Rolling Stone and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of like, I just want to pay rent.
Artists, those people are maybe on the radio, but there's a million of us in every square inch of this country and everywhere else. That's like you have to have to play your stuff.
And I just want to be able to pay rent. I want to be able to eat. Maybe if I get sick, go to the doctor.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah. Not asking for the moon.
No.
Just treat it like a trade. I see music as like, as like a trade, like plumbing or being a car mechanic or an electrician. It's not divine in the sense that, because a lot of artists, that they're successful for 25 or 30 years or more or whatever, they start to think that they're all that, like, oh, here I am, you're welcome, and it's like one thing that not being recognized at all in general by select groups of people occasionally, but not on a wide scale at all, is it's actually a trade, So it's do you go get your oil change and say, yeah, thanks. Do you mind if I give you $1? Is that cool? That's all I got left over after buying the beer, And no, you pay the guy for his time. Now, how do you make that into a system that actually translates into a workable living for working musicians of any and every genre? Because in the symphonic world they've got their unions. Jazz world probably does too. How do you unionize a bunch of bar bands? I mean, it's like impossible, actually, kind of. Maybe. It seems impossible. It sounds impossible. It doesn't occur to me as remotely possible. But how are you going to get a bunch of bands who are going to break up in 6 months to unionize so that the bars stop exploiting them for peanuts on the dollar? You're not even pennies. You're not even getting me change. I'm getting like the leftover crumbs from the, I'm living off of tips. I'm living in a car.
Yeah. Now see, this is.
And you can't maintain a relationship because you got to bring home the bread. I mean, you do. You want to.
Right. See, I'm not. And it's because I go back and forth. I have lots of friends who are for the universal wage, and I'm kind of like, I don't like universal wage.
It.
But this is the only argument that I could think for having it.
That's why I'm not for it. I know what you're saying, because as a homeless, starving musician,
at least if you had $500 a month coming to you, to where you could get,
it would be like, well, you know what, I could actually use your income, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to fall for the temptation. Because now I can't rise above, and be. The community thing is used as it's like the community never needs me. I always need it. It's never saying, oh, we need you. You are you. You're you. I'm me. I'm not they. You're not us. I am me. You're you. So, but they never need me. They don't need you. You need them. Ask them. They'll tell you. Well, you need us. And so so then you can't individually ever become anything. Whether you're a car mechanic or so, the UBI would be very attractive to artistic types of any medium, because it's hard to make a living,
right?
And it is, and all that's we could talk about. No, this could be a long show. It's not going to be that long. Don't worry. But But you know what? If I take your payoff, if I take your bribe, with a UBI, then now I'm stuck here. Now all I can do is pay the rent, and I can't rise above that.
Okay.
And it's like, well, what would be better is to revalue. When I was talking about this with a friend of Denver's and all them last night, is to revalue the arts. And how do you revalue the arts so that they're actually valuable to people? Okay, it's easy to download and rip music and things and movies and all kinds of mediums.
Easier than ever. Yeah.
It's easy. It's going to get done. The cat is out of the bag. That's the way it is. We're all for the internet. You're insane. It's obviously a great thing. How do you make it so that people see it as valuable, and that they could check any comment section? Well, not any comment section, but you'll see it regularly in comment sections on YouTube or social media. Like, oh, this movie is free, as it should be. And it's like, well, somebody's going to have to get paid to make it.
Right.
The guys that plug in the lights cost money. The director, the camera people, the actors.
The lights, the cameras.
To make the movie. They're getting paid. But nobody's getting paid to make the record. Mm-hmm. And then the record not only isn't getting paid to get made, when it gets made, it's considered, well, you made it for free, so now I can make it for free. Well, okay. So anyway, cut to the chase. I think the golden age of it's art because I say it's art needs to die right now. It needs to be over. If it's art because I say it's art, and I say that bottle of beer and I pour some red paint on it and throw it against the wall and call it my girlfriend's, whatever. Fill in the blanks. It's not only get gross. And I say that it's art, then that means nothing is art, because anything can be art. And if nothing is art, then art has no value.
Yeah, but
if
how do
everything
you...
is art and nothing is art, then art is valueless. And if that's the mindset of the society, then it's naturally going to assume that what you're doing is worthless, especially if they're not artistic people who can just go get a job for a living. And I say, if you think that it's free, then I want you to give me your shoes. Right now, no debate. If you think that what I do is worth nothing and that the song belongs to all of us, is the phrase, then give me your shoes, because they belong to all of us, and I want them because I need them. I just bought some new shoes, but I don't. But give me your shoes anyway, because these are going to wear out, and you have 10 pairs because. So I think the UBI idea is that it keeps you down, and yeah, it gives you a temporary. It's like fast, but it gives you a temporary filler. But it's not sustainable it doesn't incentivize growth or personal. You tends to. It's like you just kind of being a financial junkie. You're dependent.
Well,
now you're not gonna.
I think you're right about it, because I know that once you start to become dependent, which you will be dependent on that money as soon as you start to get it.
You're going to get used to it quickly.
Sure.
We all would.
And then now they own you, because
now then they can say, "Oh, well, you wrote a song with the word tits in it." That's offensive to Joe Blow, because it's going to be offensive to somebody,
right?
And this is why this is stuff that these chick tracks. It's not religion, because who wants to live in a world where you can never be offended? Mm-hmm. Religious people. They want to live in and I don't mean like Christians, but I mean people that are in religious cults.
Right.
They build those cults as bubbles against a fence. That's what it's all about. I mean, well, it's about control. Well, usually some crazy lunatic in the middle of it, like James Jones or whatever his name is. But it's about. What are we talking about?
We're just talking. Yeah.
Train of thought, man.
Universal.
It was that for a while, But yeah, I mean, as far as like them owning you, once you're dependent on that, then.
Yeah, then you kind of can't. Then they control you, and then they can dictate your output. And if you've got a thought that maybe you decide isn't appropriate for children, so you decide not to sing it in front of children. But what if they decide that you can't even put it on the internet because some child might see it,
find it, right?
And it's like, okay, well now I can't even say it. Even if I want to edit it for a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, now I can't even say it to the 30-year-old because it's like. I don't agree with that. Right,
I don't either.
And I want to be able to say what I want to say, and it's it's gonna. Aren't you ever? I'm offended on a regular basis. I don't call the cops about it.
Right.
It's just such is life,
mm-hmm.
And
people are offensive sometimes.
What are you? Get over it. You'll be all right. Trust me. You actually would. It actually is good for you a little bit. Because that means you have to use your if you really are a better person than the rest of us, which is what they think. Mm-hmm. If you're really better than me, then you can actually use that as a strengthening tool to now be tough and not be offended. Try it, because it'll work. Actually,
right. Be the better person.
Then you can actually handle a George Carlin or a Bill Hicks sketch, which are offensive, or Sam Kinison or Lenny Bruce had that problem 50 years ago,
mm-hmm.
or something, roughly, whatever it was. And it's like, well, why not? So I don't want the religious cult in control. I want the liberty to say and do, as long as children and animals aren't involved and it's consensual, but I want the liberty to say and do as I please.
Right.
For all intents and purposes. Short of murder, rape, vandalizing people's property, theft, obvious stuff.
Right.
But saying, the F word on a podcast, or it's using the word, or saying, whatever it is, a crass joke about, using the word tits, and somebody's going to say, well, that hurts my feelings, and I'm like, well, your offendedness hurts my feelings, but I'm not going to call the cops because your offendedness offends me, because that's a cycle. Then all of a sudden you're in a religious cult where now all you can do is you have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and we're in the program, and yes, I am an alcoholic, and I am a complete cult member, and I must comply. No liberty allowed, no individual thought allowed, and now you're trapped. And if you try to get out of that, you're going to have a real hard time.
Now,
whereas if you prevent that from becoming possible in the first place, you might have a chance. But if you let them shackle you with fear, you're screwed. I don't know.
So there's there's the 9 Inch Nails line, or maybe it's the name of the song. It's Happiness and Slavery.
Yeah.
You know, where he's like, you'll find happiness in slavery. Don't you think that some people find happiness in that kind of, they need the rules. They need to be not offended. They need to know what's black and white. It's got to be this.
The only problem is when they impose it on
right, of course. If it's good for you, then whatever,
no,
man.
But
But
it's
it's not good.
out. Like I say, I don't
Right.
if you want to walk around in a uniform, and a religious uniform, and whether it's an orange robe or a business tie suit looking thing, and go for it.
I'm just wondering
if you want to slam dope into your eyeballs all day, and I'm going to sympathize with you. I probably won't hang out with you, but I don't think you should be taken to jail for it.
Right.
If you're selling weed or heroin or methamphetamines, I don't think that's personally, and we don't have to agree on that. I don't have to agree with anybody on anything. I think everybody should be able to disagree about everything and still get along. My friend in Jerome is a Satanist, freaking Satanist, and we're buddies. We're not.
Yeah, but
there's a difference there, and and the swords do become. There is a distance spiritually that is. We're not deny it. It's not, but it doesn't mean that or my other friend in Jerome, who's a gay socialist Catholic. We agree about nothing, dude. I mean nothing. But we respect each other's intellect, and we like talking to each other, and we love each other as friends, and that's good enough. And we agree about nothing, dude. And he's like. Gay. I'm not anti-gay. I'm not gay, but I'm not. But he's like this gay Catholic socialist, and we disagree about everything, but we're friends. Why? And if you have to agree with everybody around you, I think you're in a cult.
Yeah.
And
No, it's
get
very
ready
much
for the hail bop, and get ready for the leader to say we're going to have to kill ourselves so that the,
it was funny.
free-minded people, the Nazis, don't. It's like, God, get real.
See, I'm still a little weird about that because even like last night, I was going to mention whenever you were thinking about, I wonder what song I should play. I was going to yell out the George Bush. What's the
George Bush? What's your problem?
Yeah, but still being in Texas, and I knew most of the people at that house. I don't know everybody. I'm like, I
don't even know those lyrics anymore. Anyway,
yeah.
I think I only played that song that time.
Yeah,
one time I ever really. It's cool. I mean, obviously, I like it. But
yeah. But I'm saying, even as it's like I try not to get into politics at shows when we're around people because we do live in Texas, and it's like. I don't really know who is, so I mean, I can sit there and just assume because you're cool and everything that maybe you don't like Trump because I don't like Trump, and then I start talking shit about Trump, and you're like, dude, you're an asshole. I like Trump, and I'm like, fuck, I had no idea.
With that it's all like a big deal now. You didn't used to have.
It didn't used to be right.
You didn't have to agree with the guy or whoever it is to
used to be able to talk
to communicate with them.
And my friends,
now you can't even communicate with them unless you agree.
Right,
that scares me. Actually,
I think my friends I can do that with because I mean, like me and Bigfoot have got into it about like some of the economic stuff, which we both disagree on for like an hour and a half. We sat outside just talking, and we're still great friends.
Yeah,
but it's strangers. It's whenever,
of course, it always is. And that's a I think that's a huge red flag in this culture and the society is that you can't. People don't respect the idea that you can just kind of now they think they have to impose their will on you. Well, that's really frightening to me.
But see, like I didn't want to
never impose my will on anybody. I mean, no, I mean, not you know what I mean,
right? Of course,
yeah. No, I haven't. Maybe a couple of bad fares when I was a cab driver, but I mean, but not like oh, no, you don't agree with what I believe. Well, then I guess I'm going to have to lock you in a cage and take away your right to do this, and ridiculous.
Beat you up, take away all your money.
Yeah, take your money. You're going to have to get punished. You no longer. I'm going to have to take away your internet access, and now you have to wear a yellow star on your sleeve, and it's ridiculous to me. It's frightening to me that you can't disagree with the average Joe on the street without. You have to be afraid to talk about, say, Trump or whatever, because you might get into like this religious disagreement,
right? But it goes,
which is like fundamentalism, hardcore. I think the politics of our country today are where people get their religious rocks off.
It has gotten that way, I think,
because I think it's really scary.
Because even on the left, which is where I like to hang out at, so I'm not even bashing the left.
I used to think I was a liberal, but it's.
Well, they're getting crazy now. It's like it's become
they lost me.
They're becoming more offended, and it's not
it's
all
not
of
what
them.
I thought
but
it was about.
It's what you
hear. I thought
hear.
it was about live and let live. That's what I thought it was about. And anti-war and stuff,
right?
And
the Democratic Party is no longer anti-war.
No.
They're just as big warriors as the Republican Party or Hawks.
I was all about Paris Hilton in 2016. I was on the Paris Hilton ticket with Snoop Dogg as the.
See, I was thinking Nicole Richie, so they could do like the TV show they used to have.
And then because she had a great economic platform, I loved it. She's got a T-shirt and she's in a club and and she's hot, right? And she says, "Stop being poor." I'm like, that's a great economic platform. I love that. You know, this is what this country needs: is stop being poor.
Well, because poor is a state of mind.
That's our economic platform. It's not any. That's all we need. Just stop being poor.
But we could actually do that. We could be like, poverty is a state of mind. Being poor is a state of mind.
It is.
You're only
It's
poor
also
because you
an
think you're poor.
economic condition,
You can have nothing and still have everything, right?
To a degree, yeah, I think so.
Oh, no. I mean, there really is that thought. But at the end of the day, you got to fucking buy milk for your baby. You got to buy milk for your baby, and it's like
boots on the ground situations that are undeniable.
But you do need to look at, because I do think if you look at what you have, you're more likely to get more, and if you look at what you don't have, you're more likely to get less because you're focusing on the whole I am negative kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So I do think that if the poverty is not a state, I mean it really is poverty, but if you can look at it as be thankful for what you have, I think over time you can bring more.
There's not a spirit of gratitude here anymore in the U.S. It's not a grateful place, and I think the arts are eating that. They're not grateful for the fact that you showed up and practiced for 30 years or 20 years or 5 minutes, and you showed up and you packed your stuff and you showed up with your band and you made it's like they of course you're here. You're just another bunch of and we're doing you a favor letting you play on our stage. They have an attitude about it. And I experienced the opposite in Mexico and in Latin America in October. The opposite. And when I hit up Mexico this winter for shows this coming up, I was going to play. I was looking for like 10 shows, and I got 2 because I wasn't booking a band. They all think an acoustic guy is going to be a boring show.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so I only got 2 shows out of like 10. And the place in I'm playing in Monterrey and Guadalajara. And Guadalajara got back to me, and one of the first things out of their email was like, the opposite. Anything you never hear in the U.S. Nothing. You never heard anything like this in the U.S. They're like in Spanish, of course. They're like, oh, we're really honored that you would reach out to us. The 18th works really well. Do you want to find another band? How can And they're working with me, and they said to me, and they're not saying they're honored because I'm David Bowie, and finally David Bowie wants to play at my bar. It wasn't that in that sense. It's just because they were like, oh, you want to play at our bar? That would be great. Let's like last night was a mutual. We were, these people and y'all were grateful to have me, and I was mutually grateful, if not more, to be had. And to be paid attention to. And whereas if you don't sell as many tickets as the karaoke guy, here they really think they're doing you a favor, and it's not like they're not. Giving you a gig they're doing you a favor, sure. I mean, it's not, but it's a risk on their part. It is, but they really do think that they're all that. And they're really like, oh well, you're playing at the world famous what? Another concrete room that sells alcohol? Yeah. Gee, another one.
What's
the second most common building on the face of the planet is a room that sells alcohol. The first most common being places that people spend the night. And you're going to try to tell me that your big, important scene full of people who would stab me in the back for a bag of chips is going to help me out by giving me a free gig for exposure? Adios, muchachos, I'm out of here, Whereas in Guadalajara, they were like, we're honored that you would reach out to us, and the date happened to work, and sure, let's book the show. And they're working with me. And they even offered, I was considering not bringing my guitar, because I've decided to. Monterey couldn't come up with one, so I said, I wanted to bring it anyway, because I might write in hotels and parks and town squares. I don't know.
Sure.
And they were like, yeah, we'll find a guitar for you. That won't be a problem, and they were going to find a guitar for me.
You one of those real big ones.
Yeah, I know. Oh, dude, I got an apartment. I found an apartment on Garibaldi Square in Mexico City. I don't have a gig there this time. That's right on Garibaldi Square, which is where all the mariachi guys hang out.
Okay. So, yeah, that'd be fun.
That is cool, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know where the windows might look into the garbage bin. I don't know, but the apartment is located on the mariachi square, so that'll be fun. Every day I go out and get coffee, and there'll be a bunch of. It would be fun. I would dream. It's kind of corny, and Calexico has done it, and I love Calexico, but to have like that. To lead a mariachi band in full regalia, I'm never going to do it.
Right, but it would be cool.
It's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
At least sprinkle the influence in there. Meet some Mexican musicians, and
There's also the
Start
grass is
a-
greener. They may be telling you, man, this uniform is hot. And,
I don't want to wear the uniform.
Oh, okay.
I'm wearing my clothes. Dude.
Okay.
I'm not wearing that crazy polyester thing with
with the ruffles and everything.
Probably an inch thick, and
And the 10-pound hat.
Yeah, because I think that would be terrible.
Yeah. When the strings are like telephone cables
Right.
on that giant weird bass thing. Yeah.
So when are you going down there? Like in a couple of days or a couple of weeks?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm going down to Austin tomorrow to see a buddy, and then Mexico, and then Monterey. The show is on Thursday, and I was looking for like 3 or 4 shows a week for all month of May, and it just didn't pan out. So
What do you think whenever you get down there, you'll be able to find some?
I might.
You're gonna try
I'm
it,
going to
yeah.
kind of look around and see what hits me, see where God, the magnets, all of it points, see where I'm led, see what attracts me, what pulls me away, what pulls me toward it. Have the potential. We'll see what happens. I found a school that they're looking for English teachers in Mexico City. That might be something maybe that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like closed to the idea of working a job.
Right.
When I'm up in Chicago, I'm like looking for jobs stacking groceries at 3:00 in the morning. They don't give it to me because my resume is ridiculous at this point. I'm applying for the job. You know, I actually looked at trucking school a couple of years ago, and I thought about it, and I went to a few meetings and decided not to do it, just because I didn't feel like I had the time. But I've been a cool job for me.
Yeah, 'cause you
or
drive
like
around
working
transit.
at the UPS wouldn't hire me because I worked at UPS 18 years ago and they didn't like we didn't agree. We had a
So you got stuck on your...
so it's on my
It's in your file or
UPS
whatever.
forever. They're like, the guy was
Permanent
cool. I had a good
record.
interview, and the guy's like, "Oh, according to your file, you guys had a disagreement with us in 2000 or 1999 or some frickin' thing, you know." And I'm like,
You're like, dude, that was a century ago.
I'm like, really? It's on your record? I mean, I remember that, but I don't remember it at all.
Didn't
He's
Y2K happen
he
and wipe that out?
He's like, we can't hire you. The machine won't let me hire you. and my resume is ridiculous, dude. It's like, it's no longer. You can't lie about it. You can't fatten it up and say, well, I'll just add a couple months to that job and a couple of, you know, it's ridiculous. You know, I was a cab driver for 2 years, was a movie extra for a while, did all 1 million different phone jobs, 1 million different warehouse jobs, a few office temp type jobs, all different kinds of jobs, lots of cash work, which is unmeasurable.
Right.
Somebody hires you to cut down their trees for a week, that kind of stuff. For cash, that's the best stuff to do anyway.
Yeah.
But then you look at, it's not like, it's like vast expanses of nothing with like occasional moments of serious employment. So what I say, and it's true, is I'm a professional self-employed entertainer, but I worked for Austin Cab for 2 years, from here and there to there, and I was a movie extra, and I worked at that hotel, and I wrote freelance for that web developer in '97, and I worked at the Marine. I was the manager of the gas dock at the marina in Gainesville, Georgia, and you know, which I was, and you know, and just. But it's not like at 45. It
Right.
looks ridiculous.
Right.
You know, you're either who you are by now, or you're out of your mind.
Exactly.
You know, if you don't know who you are, you're crazy. You know, so it's like, you know, so yeah, this guy doesn't want to work here because he would have worked here already.
Right.
His resume is a joke, so they don't hire me anymore.
Yeah.
But I try because, you know,
No, you
gotta
have to
make
do
a
those.
living.
You got to do those cash gigs or like those waiting table gigs or bartender, bar, whatever.
a lot
those
of
kind
dishwashing.
Yeah, those type of service jobs.
I'm not front of house is tough for me, man. We're talking.
Oh, the front of the house is tough for you.
It is. That's why. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's hard, man. I as a cabbie, I appreciate people that work for a living for tips, live on tips. So I always try to tip waitresses and waiters and people like that as well as possible. At least a little above average, if possible. Because that's a hard job, dude. The front of house is tough.
See, I always like that stuff.
I just watch. I'll stand there in my ugly pants and wash dishes.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fun, but at least I don't have to be in a good mood. I'm not good at faking my mood. It's cry me a river, right? But,
Right. Yeah. That's what you gotta go. You gotta be that way. Hey, how's it going? Like, you're
like, but you can't. Like a cabbie, you didn't have to. That's what I like about being a cabbie is that you don't have to be cool. So.
Just like, where do you want to go? Here I want to go.
Yeah,
You're
if you want, you
yeah.
can be rude if you want. You know, you don't have to be.
It's almost expected, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Cabbies
Yeah,
always
I
had
agree.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so will you be doing some writing when you're on your trip?
Yeah, maybe.
looking-
We got a project from the songwriting circle to write a song, an Arthurian epic about sword. I always have about half a dozen songs in progress at any given time, and so I'm bringing my all my scraps, unwritten pieces of music, which is like 2 pieces of notebook paper. And here's some chord changes that I've never done anything with, and if it turns into a song, it will. If not, I'll just eat some street tacos and watch some ASMR videos and pass out in a hotel somewhere.
I just found out what that was.
Yeah.
ASMR. I didn't know what that was until like a few days ago.
Those whisper chicks, I call them.
Yeah.
I don't do the dudes. So I can't.
But that helps you sleep and stuff? You like it?
I do.
It relaxes you? Because,
like
some people say that they have anxiety and it really will calm down their anxiety. I've never tried it, but it's a real thing.
Some of them are weird.
Yeah, sure.
It's got to be actually kind of relaxing. You can't be like, some of them are not talented.
Yeah, no, I think ASMR Gibby is the big one. And she whispers all the time. And she just talks about her regular thing. Like if she did this podcast, she would just do it like this. But
yeah, I know. It's weird, actually.
She's not telling you a story. She's just talking about this week I went to the grocery store and did this, whatever. She's just talking about herself.
She's talking quietly.
It's really, really quiet.
I like the Russian accents.
Yeah.
And Scottish.
How weird. I just never knew this. YouTube blows my mind every day.
The Russian is, or speaking English, it's relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
now,
I like the clean ones. Too much innuendo is distracting.
Oh, is there some like naughty ones?
Well,
not naughty, but
hardcore.
Like, just kind of gives
YouTube,
you,
but
right.
A little bit of.
But girls are trying to be a little flirty to make.
I don't like.
Perhaps
that.
they get more views or
it's
something. I guess
that's what they do. Yeah, and
yeah.
they do. They can make a living. Those chicks make bank, dude.
Of course,
they make a serious money. They do. I mean, I don't know, thousands of dollars a month they make off of that. Good for them.
I need to figure out a way to do it, man. So
we've got microphones, Jeff.
Before we're not making any money off of this.
No, but we're not doing ASMR either.
Donating everything, blood, time.
No, I always found out about this stuff too late. We need to be on the forefront.
Oh, the bleeding edge.
We need to think about ASMR stuff a long time ago. Once I find out about it, it's already too late to jump in on top of it because I'm way late to all that stuff.
But if you have a natural voice for it, you couldn't
throw your head in the
Some
ring.
people like stutterers. I could start stuttering, and I have like a stuttering YouTube channel.
You could probably do it. You have some pretty mellow voice. Mm-hmm. I don't like to judge dudes whispering voices.
I'm going to do a whole.
Freaking me out.
I'm going to do a whole video just for Nathan. Nathan, I know you're in Mexico, Nathan.
All right, I'm out. Y'all.
I'm thinking about you.
That's it. I'm done.
No, I do want to ask Denver before we go though. So, one, how did you find out about Nathan Payne? I mean, like, where did you hear his first song and get into his music and whatever? And then, what made you think to reach out and ask him to come out here and do this, and how did all that work? And were you like excited when it happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I saw Nathan's show in Austin. I'm guessing 08, 09 maybe, and I was really taken by it. Went up to talk to him. He was super energetic. Bought a couple CDs. I felt like he took a lot of time to talk to me and what's now my kid's mother. So she was there. We both dug it. I listened to those CDs for a couple years, and then the internet, became more and more part of daily life. And I was like, it'd been a couple years, and I was like, man, I got to look that dude up. So then I listened to it by myself for years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if I hit him up to say that like a lot of his stuff wasn't available on Bandcamp. That's what it was. I was like, oh, well, there was only a couple of records I think up there, and I was like, hey, dude. Can you put all that stuff up or something? Because I've been jamming you forever, and it's like, it really, and watching what Nathan was doing, like we hadn't been talking, but I was watching it, and I was like, I want to do it like that. I want to be this consistent. I want to, I want to go this hard, So then he's like, oh yeah, and whatever. And then what happened? A few more conversations, and I was like, hey, Neil, let's go up to Chicago and interview him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so me and Neil were like, yeah, and he was like, yeah, and then he was like, well, maybe better not. You know what I mean? And then I was looking, it's like, okay, he's going to Mexico. It's like, well, hey, we were going to try to get him to open up for Chillamundo or something, and it's like, that wasn't the best fit. And then it was like, I was talking to Neil, I was like, fuck, or I was like, how do we do this, man? And Neil was like, me and Neil started brainstorming, and it's like, private show, let's earn enough money to make it worth time, worth
his time to come here and do it.
Yeah, because initially we were like, man, I thought you'd be driving your van. I was like, oh, we could probably get $100 or something at least, if you come play. We were thinking about doing it at Mass or something. Yeah. But it didn't work out, And then it was like, this is a good idea. And then we were like, we can do this, And then So then it has been really cool. Like, just even this whole weekend going through the process of it, getting to hang out, because in a lot of ways it's been like, not my secret. I've shared it with everybody. I've been playing California Hills, that first song we listened to. And like when I'm playing a show, if I'm like hating the experience of being there because everyone's eating food, I'll play that song. Room will light up. It's like guaranteed. I can like turn a room.
That's a great song, man. It really is.
But then I stopped. Then I stopped playing it because everyone is coming up being like, "Dude, my favorite song of yours is California Hills."
Right.
And it's like, I mean, I want them to enjoy it. I wanted to share that music. I wanted them to check out Nathan, but all at the same time, I want to be known for what I do.
Yeah.
And I don't mind playing it with people that already like my.
You're like, that's not your song. I like Blood Machines a whole lot. You're like,
Blood Machine's my favorite song.
I'm really good at. I think I'm really good at finding people about. I think I have a good ear, and
you do have a good ear.
I think I'm good at. Then, internalizing that and re-expressing things that I think are like really awesome. Then I think.
Yeah, it was a really neat event.
Cool.
It was just
it was great.
Yeah, I just didn't know how y'all had met and stuff.
It was a high honor, really, actually, because you don't take that stuff for granted.
I can't remember the girl that was sitting next to me. She's at all the shows.
Camille?
She's super cute. Is that her name, Camille?
I don't know anybody's name. I just met everybody.
Denver. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I don't remember who was sitting next to you. Maybe
she's at all your shows. She's at all your shows. She's really cute. She's
Short, brunette.
That's Camille. Yeah.
Camille. Yeah, she had the long dress on last night. Yeah, she was in the theater.
Yeah. She was cool.
Yeah, she's awesome. I don't know her that well, but
actually quite a bit.
I started seeing her over the past 4 or 5 shows, just like at every show that I go to. It's like there she is. But anyways, I was sitting. We were rocking buddies. She was in a rocking chair, and I was in a rocking chair. And she was singing like half of your songs, and I was like, "This is so cool." Because then I asked her, I go, "How long have you listened to him?" She's like, "Oh, maybe a couple months." She's like, "Denver turned me on to him." I was like, "That's so cool
really
that
amazing. It's like great. Legitimizes you.
Yeah, because she even asked you to play a song. You're like, "Oh, I haven't played that song in years," and you kind of halfway remembered it and played a verse for her, and then like, "That's all I got."
Yeah.
It's
cool.
I think that's neat.
Nice. It is.
Yeah.
Nice. Nothing in the world is worse than playing for people who are eating. I can't stand it, man. That's a tough gig. Playing for people who are eating. I'd rather play in the bus station.
Yeah.
It's tough, dude. Yeah, restaurant shows are hard. That's a totally inattentive audience. Yeah, that's a rough room, especially when the place is kind of half and half and kind of has a PA and a mic stand, and they even clear some tables, and it's kind of like you're not just sitting in the corner playing acoustic, instrumental music which would be a job and a legitimate way to.
Or maybe like a little jazz guitar or something.
They want you to play your set,
right?
Mm-hmm. But everybody in front of you is sitting at dinner with their family or with their wife or their husband or their kids, and it's like that's the toughest crowd. Anyway,
you start singing to them.
It was a great honor, man. Yeah,
hey, you eating your steak?
Well,
I think you dropped a piece of steak on the floor,
right?
man. You should pick it up.
The son, my junkie girlfriend is strung out on heroin with a bunch of people who are eating a cheeseburger with their 5-year-old.
Mom, what's heroin?
What's strung out?
Even if you don't, it's. Or kiss my tits, sing that. You probably wouldn't. I wouldn't sing it in that.
No, you wouldn't do that. Yeah,
but that's what's hard about it. Is that you kind of have to. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and I don't. I think it's been a theme of the last few times, especially I've done a podcast or something where I've talked mess about that. Really, I see there's some work that I should probably do. I mean, I could make that more entertaining for myself and challenge myself, and I'm grateful for the whatever $100 to $300, But the weird thing is the places, they don't really seem like they need the music. Everyone's just competing to have it, So I will take the money, but it's like y'all don't. No one really wants me here, and so it's like it's really a job, and I'll do it, but it just doesn't make sense, Yeah,
and I've seen Joe Savage play at like whatever burger place that was, and I've seen Vincent play at a burger place, but I've seen the Burnett's play at Shaw's a few times. because anytime I see like one of my favorite people playing at a place, I'm like, hey, you want to go out to eat tonight? Denver's playing at the pizza parlor. Let's go have pizza. So we'll come out there because I think it's kind of cool.
That'd be cool if it was your buddy, but yeah.
Yeah. But most of the people there are just eating pizza, and they're like, "Why is this guy singing to me while I'm eating pizza?" But I'm like,
go up to him like the Mexican mariachi.
Yeah, walk around the table and start singing. Just serenading each table.
Man, that sounds like a rough gig.
That would be a rough gig. I don't want you. We're trying to talk, man. Get the fuck away from me. Be rude.
They throw money at you. You're just bothering them so that they throw money at you to leave them alone. Not quite the same as playing music.
Yeah.
You're using music as a hammer, bludgeon money out of the people.
If you tip me, I'll leave. If you don't tip me, I'm here and I'm getting louder. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So no, man. I really hope you get to come back through. And
I will.
Maybe play live. Maybe get with Joe and put some stuff on tape.
Oh, we'll do it. Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Let's consider it done.
Yeah, I mean, you're in One Horn Studio. He's an engineer.
I've been
he can
really
make records.
Super honored and grateful. It's not overstated. It's true, but it's also the risk of sounding high-minded or whatever. I mean, I'm impressed with everybody and everything that I've met because I was kind of half expecting. Well, I didn't expect anything.
You know what to expect,
but I wouldn't have been surprised and was totally prepared. I wasn't bracing for it, but like a bunch of wastoids and beer-soaked couches and smoking weed. I don't mind. I like smoking weed, but like people
still
smoking
the
weed
pothead,
for 8 hours,
yeah.
and then maybe we should, and then they think, they're not. These people are y'all are serious people that are, you might have a beer here and there and stuff like that, but it's like, it's not like your main drive in life, and that's part of the reason I'm not interested in that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so, this has been
I'm a cheerleader for this.
I'm grateful. I'm very grateful.
Well, I'm a cheerleader for the scene, so I sometimes wear the rose-colored glasses, and I don't see all the ugliness that actually happens in the scene. But I think
to see.
But I think that this is. I think there's something special going on in the city. I think that the people here are a little more serious.
That venue, I was blown away by how nice that venue was last night that Neil's band was playing in. I mean, it's just
where'd they play?
Oh, they went to the brewery. Where'd they go?
New Maine.
New Maine. Oh,
which has
yeah.
Nice room.
We need to throw a show there.
Yeah.
Mean Motor Scooter, Chillminda,
We
or
do.
all of us, anything.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Great venue.
No, I think you'd do good here, man. I think you'd have a lot of fun.
100-foot ceilings.
I think you should come and stay for like 6 months or a year, live in your van. Hell, I think Luke lives in his RV.
Part of the time, I think.
Yeah, he's got 6 beds in there.
I sold my van for airplane tickets, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of sad, but it had to be done.
Saw a
It's
guy.
my friend. It was like, we live together.
There's a lot of lakes around here. You can pitch a tent. I'll come out and I'll go fishing with you.
There's other vans. The world is full of.
There's no shortage of
Vans,
used
cars,
vans.
station wagons. Yeah.
Well, we will. We'll do it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm looking forward to it.
So we'll close out the song. You did this last night. It was "True Love Is a Trip," and I just liked it.
Yeah, I love this.
I think it's a good song.
This is one of my favorite new ones of mine to play.
And I like to end kind of one a little slower. This isn't really slow, but it's a little bit more chill than the other two we played.
Country-ish.
Yeah.
It's not country, obviously, but it's got that. For me, it's country in my world.
Yeah.
In my discography, it's country. It's more closer to country than a lot of other stuff. Yeah, it's not country, but it's got that.
It has that feel for sure.
It's got that vibe.
It totally does.
But I love this song.
I like it, and they can find you on Bandcamp. Is it under Nathan?
Nathan Payne. .bandcamp, or you can go to pablosmoglives.com. That's my website, and that's where all the info is. But nathanpayne.bandcamp.com is where you can get the greatest hits albums are for free. I'm not a PayPal customer, so nothing can be paid for. The greatest hits albums are just a primer for anybody who doesn't have anything, and that's a good place to start. And you can take them for free, and you can't pay for them. So nathanpayne.bandcamp.com or pablosmoglives.com.
Yeah, and these 3 songs I pulled off the free ones that you can get online. So just so
They're
people know,
all three are on different. There's 4 greatest hits albums, and they're all 3 available on some
form or the other. Yeah,
one of them or another.
So if you like these, you can get these for free. But it's a good link. You can see the other ones, and if you're interested,
you can listen to all of them.
Yeah,
yeah.
And if you're interested in something, you can email him right from there.
pablosmoglives.com is a contact page.
And so it's cool. I was telling them, I've been driving around. I just played the Sideburns in the Snow. Is that the greatest?
Yeah,
hits?
Sideburns in the Sun, Sideburns in the Snow.
So I just hit play, and I was driving around listening to it, and I was like, man, I don't hear a song I don't like. I mean, it's just I like them.
Right on.
The lyrical content,
thanks, man.
Just the melody and the way it goes. I think you're a really interesting, songwriter. It seems that these days people have kind of gotten lazy with some of their lyrics.
Oh, for
Not
sure.
people that we know. Like, I think Sammy's really good. I think Richard's really good. Denver's obviously, you know, I mean, we have a lot of really good people here in town, but I mean, on the big top 40 scale or whatever, it's like, whatever's coming out on the radio is bullshit.
I don't even hear people finishing whole lines anymore. It's just kinda like, it's just a couple syllables that
Sometimes,
might, you know,
yeah.
It's like the whole song it's not even a tune. It's like a collection of sound
Noises.
frequencies in a 4-minute wave file, and now and then it's just like, is that even? It's kind of hard to tell sometimes what's.
But yours is colorful. It's
Thank you, yeah.
a poetic, and it's you know, it's kind of like a Dolly painting at times. You're just like, it's kind of weird and surreal and stuff, and it's like I really like it.
Cheers.
You know,
Enjoy
it's,
it, man.
It's
Please
been a lot
do.
of fun.
Take it. Yeah, take the free links, and I'll give you some codes,
Yeah.
and you can take some. All y'all.
Yeah, they're awesome. And so I want everybody to, you know, if you haven't already, then check out Nathan Payne. And I don't know, anything else we need to
Thank you.
promote or anything? All right, cool.
Thank you.
I guess that's it, man.
All
We'll
right.
see everybody next week.
All right.
And we're going to
Trails.
listen to True Love is a Trip, which True Love
True love is a trip.
is a trip. So sure words haven't been said. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Stranded here in the now. You want me to let go, but not look down. There ain't no road left to run. There ain't no way to catch the setting sun. But I'll be damned if we didn't try. All our ships set sail in the sky. And the stars are framed by fire and hair, and our hands are in the air as our footsteps slowly slip. True love is a trip. Meet me on the swings under a sky of golden coins and diamond rings. Hold me in your heart. We can stop anytime we like. We just don't know where to start. But I'll be damned if we didn't try. Well, our ship set sail in the sky. Well, and the stars are framed by fire and hair, and our hands are in the air as our footsteps slowly slip. True love is a trip, 'cause love is hell and trust is hard. Well, I let everything down accept my guard. Let's throw our baggage overboard and take a stand. Hold the horror lightly in your hand and sweep me away with the sway of your hips. True love is a trip